Kenya itasimama, Kenya itanawiri kwa umoja na uzalendo. Mimi ni Mkenya mzalendo. Je, wewe? Mimi ni Mkenya mzalendo daima. Leo hii tumekuja kuweza kuhutubia nchi kama hotuba yetu ya kwanza ya mwaka huu kuhusu masuala mbalimbali ambayo yanakithiri kutokana na tetesi mbalimbali ambazo zinahusisha masuala tofauti ya Wakenya, na tuko tayari kama serikali kujibu maswali ambayo Wakenya wanafaa kuyajua ama vile ambavyo wanatarajia. Mwanzo, ni vyema kusema kwamba tukiangalia takwimu za vile ambavyo serikali imeweza kufanya kazi, ni dhahiri shairi kwamba serikali imeweza kufanya mambo mengi ambayo yameafikiana kutokana na malengo ya the better plan, kama vile ambavyo tulivyoahidi wakati tulikuwa tunatafuta kuchaguliwa kwa Mheshimiwa William Samoei Ruto kama rais wa awamu ya 5 wa Jamhuri yetu ya Kenya. Na ndiposa unaona kwamba kuna uungwaji mkono mkubwa ambao unasaidia sana sisi wenyewe kama Wakenya kuweza kusimama kidete na kuweza kuonyeshana kwamba tupo katika hali hii. Tumeona watu wakisema kwamba, kwa mfano, eti mambo ya NADCO, haya mambo ya NADCO ambayo yapo sasa hivi kwamba hayashughulikiwi, kwamba kuna mchezo wa mambo kama haya. Tuwajibu hivi: mwanzo, tumehakikisha kwamba ile jopo kazi linaendelea kufanya kazi ya watu 5. Pili, kuna mikakati mitatu ambayo inashughulikiwa. Ya kwanza, kuna nyaraka 54 katika zile idara za dola, State Department ukipenda, ambazo inaonyesha ni vipi ambavyo tutashughulikia masuala kama kupunguza gharama ya maisha, kujumuisha Wakenya ambao pengine walikuwa wanahisi kwamba wametengwa kutoka kwenye serikali na kadhalika. Na kila katibu mkuu ameweza kupatiwa waraka wake ili aweze kushughulikia swali hili katika ile idara ya dola. Jambo la pili, kuna zaidi ya sheria 16 ambazo zimeweza kupelekwa bungeni ili kuhakikisha kwamba ile agenda ya ambayo iliweza kuwekwa, ambayo iko na vipengele 10 ama hoja 10 imeweza kuafikiwa. Kwa hiyo kuna sheria, kuna miswada ya sheria ambayo imeweza kuwekwa kwa upande ule. Jambo la tatu, kuna swala kubwa sana ambalo Wakenya wengi wanajiuliza kuhusu mambo ya referendum. Je, ni vipi tutaweza kufanya hilo? Kwa mfano, utakuta kwamba ukiangalia katika katiba yetu, ni kweli kwamba sasa hivi tumeweza kupitisha muda ambao ulikuwa unahitajika ndiposa tuweze kuwa na ile referendum ama kugawanyisha katika ile mipaka ambayo pengine ni ya maeneo bunge na kadhalika. Kwa hiyo mambo hayo tunayashughulikia kwa sababu ndio uliona kwamba makamu waziri mkuu Musalia Mudavadi akisema kwamba tunaweza kufanya hilo jambo wakati tunaenda katika uchaguzi kama swala la 7. So we are saying that the whole issue of the NADCO report is critical to us, and those people who are saying that we are not keen on ensuring that we implement the NADCO report, I think they are misguided. The government is extremely committed to the NADCO report, and that is why we have actually come up with various means to implement it. The 5-member committee is already on course. We had a very good meeting and a very good briefing with all of the PSs last week on Wednesday, and we have taken 3 main ways of implementing the NADCO report. Number 1 is that we have developed templates for each of the 54 state departments on their mandate. That is extremely important. On their mandate, we have actually implemented that, so that every principal secretary who is in charge of a state department knows what they are supposed to do, like the reduction of the cost of living and the water bill. Number 2, we have also taken the legislative angle, whereby 16 bills are already at various stages in Parliament, both the National Assembly and the Senate. to ensure to these broad-based government that we are actually very serious in terms of implementing what we've agreed. And the third route is the constitutional amendment and the referendum question, because we will end up having a referendum based on 2 of the 10 points agenda. 8 can be done administratively, but 2 require referendum. And therefore we need to be guided by Chapter 16, Article 255, 56, and 57 of the Constitution of Kenya, because it affects the structure of the executive and also even how Parliament functions. And so therefore, anyone out there who is saying that we are not committed to the NADCO report is really not serious. Somebody who is seeking out for themselves, and yet we ourselves are fully and firmly committed under the leadership of His Excellency President William Ruto in that regard. The second issue that I would like to address is the issue of corruption. The government has remained steadfast in fighting corruption in the country. We are seeing some media reports saying, oh, we are losing this amount of money, but how are we doing it? First and foremost, it is on record that quite a number of public officials that have been found to be culpable, they have been forced to step aside. From CEOs of state corporations, chairmen of parastatals, even principal secretaries. That is on record. Secondly, we are putting in place measures to ensure that we remove the impersonal application of public policy by digitizing our systems. For the record, because of the digital superhighway and creative economy pillar, we are now raking in more money through the e-citizen, to the point that now the monies that were being lost through leakages and seepages, now they are being centrally managed because of that program. For 23,000 government services, and you are getting them online, and therefore we are even able to make even 1 billion shillings a day at times, and moving forward, so that then we are able to collect enough resources for our people. The other thing, which has faced some bit of resistance, is EGP, e-procurement, so that we remove that human interference. And it's being rolled out. There were some delays here and there, technicalities, but now ministries, departments, and agencies are able to actually, be able to procure, using that program. And it's very good, because then you don't have to plug off other people's papers. You don't have to do it. And Cyril Wegude, the PS for procurement, he has done a very good job so far, and the Ministry of the National Treasury in that regard. And of course, there is also this question people are asking of themselves, then what next? Certainly, we need to fight corruption, and that is what the government is doing at the source of it, so that then we collect the revenues as is, and also ensure that whatever we procure is as a result of what is required. So there is a very clear alignment within the e-procurement system of work plans that are already pre-agreed with specific targets to ensure that then people do not just use public money as they so wish. And that is on record. Number 3, there is that whole issue about the education sector. And we are proud to say as a government that now we've been able to transition our grade 10 learners successfully, over 90%, and we were ready by having the proper number of classrooms. We have also been able to ensure that people have gotten the schools that they deserve, and we've also been able to ensure that we've increased the number of teachers now to 100,000 as promised. And it is the commitment of the government that by the time we go to the next general elections, we will already have done 16,000 more, so that we meet the 116,000 deficit that we had identified previously. There have of course been challenges of rolling out the competence-based education and training, curriculum, but it is adapting very well through the retooling by the Teacher Service Commission, by ensuring that we are also dispersing capitation for the first time, in good time before even some schools had opened, and that will continue. And now the government has also been able to ensure that the fees are well, stipulated, and free education is assured. We are in the process of ensuring that we have 1,600 laboratories, and moving forward, we've also even been able to pay 4.6 billion to those who we owed in terms of the booksellers, so that then we are able to be on course. So the whole issue of transition of our education system is extremely well taken care of. Further to it is also important to state very clearly that the more people pay for SHA, the better. Whether be it police, be it teachers, be it all of the civil servants. So far, we have over 29 million Kenyans who have enrolled for this program. So we want to ask our fellow Kenyans, hii tabia ya unalipa alafu you only pay when you're sick is not good. Because suppose then we all do that, then that system requires all of us to be honest and to ensure that we pay. And we are calling upon all of Kenyans to pay money so that then we have resources that are required to ensure that everything goes well. But it is important that all of the people who are paid from the exchequer are enrolled in this program, so that we have what we call equalization, so that we have equality, so that we are able to help one another. How insurance works is that if today I'm not sick and I'm paid, then if you are sick this today, then you'll be paid for. And then tomorrow if I'm sick and you are not sick, then it happens that way. So that's how it's supposed to do. But it has been extremely successful. We had only 8 million people before, now there are over 29 million, and it is the desire and the target of the government to ensure that all of the Kenyans are able to be paid for this free medical care. This is the closest that we have come when it comes to free universal health care. And successful governments have been promising this for quite some time, but they have not been able to do so accordingly. Another thing also that has been very of great concern here from the members of the public is the issue of deductions from the pay slip vis-a-vis tax payment. As you are aware, the government has made a decision that anyone who earns 30,000 shillings and below will have tax-free pay as you earn. This is a very great development, and even the next tier of pay as you payees, they will actually be only paying only 25%. That is extremely important because 1.5 million Kenyans are going to benefit, and I want to demonstrate to you as a government spokesman. Some people are saying, "Oh no, we need to reduce." It has to be measured, and these deductions, is there as a result for it? Yes. If you look at the housing levy, now we have buildings everywhere across the country. We are able to lift millions of Kenyans from poverty, from the bottom up, literally, using the resources that we are all commingling together so that we can have home ownership becoming a reality of our essence of being. And further to it, these monies are not just for our own consumption. We have had a very poor saving culture. I think we are actually way behind if we look at the global trends. While a country like China is saving up 55%, then we go there borrowing, we are saving only 7%. But by the end of this year, through these deductions of NSSF that people are talking about, we will be able to save over 1 trillion shillings. Monies that are much more than what we have been able to save since independence. How does that help us? Because then we are able to finance our own development. We are able to take care of our senior citizens in terms of pensions and what have you. And so therefore, the deductions are not just for the sake of it. If you look at even our model for Nyota, if you look at our model for Nyota, it's the same thing. You get 25,000 shillings startup capital, but 3,000 goes straight into savings. So it's very clear, even when you look at the whole issue of Hustler Fund, because one of the things that we promised as a government is that upon coming into power, we will be able to provide for a saving culture so that our country can be able to move forward. The government already has been able to roll out the Nyota program in a very big way, and we are now finalizing, and you can see the president interacting with our young people. The Nyota project business component is empowering 121,800 entrepreneurs nationwide, equally distributed with a maximum of 84 per each of 1,450 wards in Kenya. Remember, initially we wanted to have 70, but now we increased that and to 84, and also before we wanted to do 110,000, but we have still revised that to 121,000. So far, the people who have applied for this Nyota, we have over 2 million Kenyans. Can you imagine? Over 2 million Kenyans have applied for the business component, confirming the enterprising nature of our youth in Kenya. And this is not just money that we are giving. We also have mandatory trainings. All selected beneficiaries have undergone a 4-day mandatory business skills training to equip them with the necessary skills so that they know how to run the businesses. And we have had disbursement dates. Already we've done 44 counties. We have done 1,360 beneficiaries in the wards. The wards so far that have been covered, 1,360 to 1,450. And also 114,240 have already been given their money, covering an amount of 2.856 billion. Please get these figures. 44 counties, 1,360 beneficiary wards, and 114,240 young people, and they are all walks of life. They have received 2.856 billion. And you've seen all of them, mothers, single mothers with children, young men, people doing all sorts of businesses, people with disabilities, of all types of disabilities, from across the country. You can now see the face of Kenya. And His Excellency the President has done a very good job in interacting with our young people and connecting with them. This week is the final week, and we are doing Garissa, 30 wards, Mandera, 30 wards, Wajir, 30 wards, between 11th and 12th of February. That's when we are finalizing as a government. And these disbursement events serve the purpose of high-level mentorship for the beneficiaries, public disbursements, and for counties to announce further support for beneficiaries. And you can even see our counties have actually been able also to waive, some of the levies that are accruing from the Nyota-related businesses. This is extremely important so that we don't have the gridlocks that come with startups. The mentorship is actually very well done. The completion of the first tranche disbursement of Kenya shillings 25,000 with 3,000 shillings savings to improve the saving culture will be followed by mentorship from the business skills trainers and the local business community to connect the beneficiaries to the local business community. So you can see we are linking them already to industry, something that has actually been lacking when it comes to the whole issue of benefiting. So it's very important, ladies and gentlemen, that we put that across and state very clearly that we are committed as a government to ensuring that all our youth who are committed to this cause, this time around is very transparent, and people have been asking, this is World Bank money. Yes, it is World Bank money. It is also commingled with government effort and resources, but that is supposed to be like ndio inaenda kule mashinani kabisa. So anyone out there who in one way or another is trying to discredit this program, ask the young people themselves. See how they are happy. See how they feel included in society. See how they are working well to ensure that that their dreams are coming true, something that has not happened before. And so, ladies and gentlemen, fellow members of for the state, it is extremely important that we also look at this whole issue of Dream Singapore. What are we talking about when we talk about the Singapore dream? How does it link with what we have already been able to do as a government? And then after that, we'll invite you to ask any follow-up questions that you could be having, so that then we can proceed as follows. Because there have been this concern: are we abandoning the better plan? Are we moving away from what we promised Kenyans? And the answer is no. The better plan has become a very good springboard for the Singapore dream. And when we talk about Singapore, we are talking about it being a utopian, symbolic first world country. giving people direction. Hata nimesikia wengine wanasema kwamba tunaenda Singapore tunaenda Canada kupitia Singapore. Now, let's look at some of the figures that we look at here. If you look at the general question of bottom up, is basically investing in the limited capital available where it will be able to create the most jobs at the bottom of the pyramid. For example, if we are able to implement the LAPSET project, which covers about 11 counties, we are creating a new Kenya. 2,100 kilometers of rail, and just like the way the current Kenya is around this old rail, we'll be able to empower people in Tana River, in Garissa, in Marsabit, all of the way in Baringo, all the way to Turkana. And we'll be able to create over 16 million jobs. And what is the capital outlay? We are talking about 1.5 trillion. That is why when we talk about the Singapore dream, it's about 5-6 trillion outlay that is going to be financed through PPPs, not just government. And of course, even the local, the local creation of rails here in Nairobi, light rails, commuter rails, and the railway city here at a cost of 3.94 billion Kenya shillings. That is already being done so far, and we know and we believe that we'll be able to do all of this that we require. The focus, therefore, is to shift focus from large-scale capital projects and prioritizing investments in high-impact sectors to foster inclusive growth for the masses. Let's look at the economic stability. For the issue of increased income, our GDP has actually grown from 4.9% in quarter 3 of 2025, and Kenya, of course, is now ranked as number 6 largest economy in Africa from number 8, and this has led to the lower cost of living as a result of lower prices, inflation down from 9.6% in 2022 to 4.6% currently. The question of Africa. Africa will not develop basically by being reminiscent of its colonial history. Africa is going to rise because of being pragmatic. That is why we are calling for what we call Afro-pragmatism, so that you get the best from the West, from the East, and most importantly from ourselves. We cannot keep on talking about Pan-Africanism for the sake of it. We have to speak about pragmatism. What is working for Africa? Clearly you can see right now, if you look at the shift, the momentum could be in Asia, but it must come to Africa, and Kenya must be the leader of this. So when we talk about moving African countries and starting with Kenya to first world countries, it is not by conjecture. We believe in it under the leadership of His Excellency President William Ruto. And you can see for sure the lower cost of living has been attained from an inflation of 9.6% to the current one of 4.6, 4.7. The interest rates have also come down from 17.22% in November 2024 to 4.82 in December 2025. So that also has led to a stable exchange rate, which really has come down from 160 shillings to about 129.5. And of course, higher prices of agricultural exports, e.g. coffee, and of course the foreign exchange reserves, which are now covering 5.3 months of import cover. This is very important, over 12.3 billion US dollars. And of course, the issue of credit rating, we had actually been downgraded. This is something that people may not be aware. We need to emphasize on that as government, that the Standards and Poor's have upgraded Kenya's sovereign credit rating from B- to a firm B. So unaona tunaelekea hapo kama ni mtihani tunafanya. The Nairobi Securities Exchange has actually been best performing exchange in emerging markets. In emerging markets, the NSE has gained 1 trillion shillings over the last year, and NSE 20 index currently at more than 3,000 up from 1,500 since 2024. So you can see these are the indicators. Please let us avoid, as members of the fourth estate, to report propaganda from the opposition and our detractors. People who are sitting down and concocting their own reality. The economic indicators are very clear. Even if you compare with the former administration, that this administration has done extremely well when it comes to economic parameters. Noting very well that when we took over government, we had almost nothing to report home about. Some people are even expecting we are going to default. It is on the record that even the president has put it very clearly one of the top world leaders asked him, what are you going to do when the country defaults? But here we are. And we really must also give credit to the Council of Economic Advisors. You know, we are talking about people, they are saying, oh, what are they? The Council of Economic Advisors has been extremely critical, led by Dr. David D, in ensuring that we get it right economically. And that I can tell you for sure, we've gotten it right. So they have actually added value, they've become very patriotic in the manner in which they have been able to help our country to steer it from the bottom of the pyramid, from the doldrums, from the downgrading, from being at the edge of the precipice of default to having a robust economy that has moved up from being the 8th economy to the 6th in Africa, and the one that has attracted the highest, income, from startups in Africa. When you look at the issue of agricultural productivity through farmer registration, subsidized inputs, fertilizer and value chain approach, we have been able, therefore, to ensure that we have financed infrastructure projects through PPPs instead of the budget. And that is extremely important, for us. So when you talk about our whole idea, why we are getting it right as a government, and proudly so, is because we started with the 47 economic forums when we were campaigning. Very well thought out, and I was very much part of that. Then we have 47 charters that we signed at the Catholic University, which then created the bottom-up economic transformation plan, the better plan, then results, and now we are reporting. We are reporting to the people. And also what we are telling Kenyans is that based on our success, now we can believe that we can move to the first world. And that is why, by the way, I need to say this very clearly, Kenya will really stand to lose if anything else was to happen otherwise. I can say confidently, as a government spokesman, but also as a Kenyan, that His Excellency President William Ruto is even overworking. He is the best president we can have. His forthrightness, his vision, his commitment to ensuring that we actually have something that is working, a country that is growing, is for sure. And the results can be seen now. Those who are saying that we are not doing anything, now the houses are there. We've taken over 400,000 people to go and work abroad. Our remittances are over $5 billion, 660 billion Kenya shillings. And even infrastructure, you just saw him on Saturday at the Talanta Sports Stadium, the biggest ever. In fact, for your information, the biggest capacity in Singapore, I think, is 55,000. Ours is 60,000. 3,000 parking capacity. Kenya is moving. And so therefore, this is a call to rally support for all of us to join this. I know there are political contestations and formations that are making a towards the 2027. But I want to appeal to you as a patriotic Kenyan that it is important to finish this journey of transformation. Because sometimes when you look at those who are rallying to oppose the government, and it is their right anyway, you can almost sense that they are doing it so that they stop this transformation because it will, take the sense away from them. And that is not patriotic. I would want to urge Kenyans to see through their intentions. That we have something that we are delivering, and indeed at some point we made painful decisions. Extremely painful, I must confess. But now they are bearing fruits. Just like you are taking your child to school, sometimes they don't want to wake up in the morning to go, but eventually when they become a doctor, a lawyer, and they're able to stand on their own, they will say, thank you, Daddy, thank you, man, you did it for me. So that is where we are, fellow members and members of the fourth estate and the country at large. It is actually true. And I have testimonies here of people whose medical harambes have been reduced because of the working of SHA. There could be teething problems, but we keep on addressing them. That is why CS Adenwale was able to call out those who were not, were giving fictitious and fraudulent claims. And we are also asking private hospitals, please charge SHA. Don't charge individuals and say SHA is not working. That also, you are creating a problem by doing so. Make sure you bill correctly. But don't charge people because you want quick money. I think that we need to be honest as Kenyans, because these systems, as long as it's verifiable and can be proven, will work going forward. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have experienced growth in new jobs in agriculture, in terms of crop production, livestock, fisheries, health, primary health care, health insurance coverage for even our livestock, and health data systems and capacity. And through the Kenya Development Corporation, we are even financing people to do feedlots and all of that, and affordable housing through PPPs and MSMEs. So we really remain committed as a government to ensure food security, and looking at the issue of edible oil, we want to cut that by 50%, rice, sugar, and wheat, so that then we have value addition, going forward. Of course, ensuring that we have affordable capital through the Hustler Fund, through the reduction of the interest rates, through the Nyota program, and many other initiatives, and of course the complementary effort of the ripple effect of the market from the private sector, and ensure that we raise productivity so that we are able to have enough 4 million bags every month, and so therefore we do not need to import from that, and of course increase productivity per acre from 8 to 15 bags per acre, dairy from 2.5 to 7.5 kg per cow, and all of them. This is quite, in fact, I can take a whole day, my fellow Kenyans, in explaining to you what we are doing as a government, which are the key pillars. Fertilizer subsidy program, you also know that we reduced that by 5,000 shillings from 7,500 to 2,500. The issue of quality seeds, the issue of maize production, meat and dairy sector, sugar production, rice cultivation, edible oil crops, animal feeds, and all of that. And of course, ensuring that we are priority logistics in how we are doing it, and ensure that the value chains end up ensuring that they produce that which goes to the market to benefit our people, transforming our cooperative sector through the KIPES that are already being constructed across the various counties, and ensuring that the farmer prices remain an all-time high, as we promised to Kenyans. So really, ladies and gentlemen, I want to stop at this point in time and ask you now to provide questions that we can respond to based on what you think is happening, and then we can move forward.